Hello and welcome to today's library session, Responsible Use of GenAI. Today we're going to explore a topic that's rapidly changing the way we learn, create and interact with information. Whether you're using AI to get unstuck on an assignment, come up with creative ideas or just learn something new, it's important to know how to use it responsibly and within the limits of academic integrity. Within this session, we're going to look at understanding GenAI tools, maintaining academic integrity, how to use GenAI with prompt engineering, practical uses for Assessment 1 and 2, and we're going to look at referencing and acknowledging GenAI tools as well. Let's start off by asking, what is GenAI and what do people use GenAI tools for? GenAI is short for Generative Artificial Intelligence, and it is a type of artificial intelligence that can create a wide variety of information in response to prompts. The outputs of these tools include images, videos, audio, code, text, and more. Today we'll mostly focus on large language models, as they can be a useful tool for general study purposes. LLMs are AI tools that are trained on massive amounts of text and data to understand and generate language and answers to your queries and prompts. The result is realistic and human-like data, making it a valuable tool for different industries and applications. This field evolves rapidly with new features and tools released constantly. And that's why it's important that students and researchers are aware of the ethical considerations, security risks, and how to use these tools with academic integrity in mind. At SCU, we prefer that all students use Microsoft Copilot where possible, as this ensures the security of university and student data. When using GenAI, there are also some important ethical issues to keep in mind. The first is accuracy and reliability of the information. GenAI tools don't always get it right, and they can produce misinformation or disinformation, sometimes even inventing facts. This is known as a hallucination, where the tool generates something that sounds real but isn't. It's also sometimes unclear where the information comes from, raising concerns around privacy and copyright. The second ethical consideration is the lack of regulation. There are currently very few legal rules guiding how GenAI works or is used, and this means that it's up to the users to be cautious about how much they trust these tools and how they apply the information generated by the tools. There's also an issue of bias and harmful stereotypes, as GenAI tools learn from large data sets pulled from the internet, which means they can reflect biases related to language, gender, race, and culture, and this can reinforce harmful stereotypes or exclude certain voices. There are also equity concerns, as AI systems rely heavily on underpaid workers for tasks like data labeling and content moderation, raising questions about worker exploitation. Equity issues also extend to the disparity between free versus paid subscription-based tools, which not everyone can afford. GenAI tools also have an environmental impact, as these models require significant power, leading to high electricity usage and increase in CO2 emissions, and large amounts of water for cooling hardware. These are just some things to be aware of when using these tools. Because of these ethical considerations, we have a couple of tests that we use in the library to evaluate GenAI tools and their outputs. Before you start using GenAI, it's helpful to think critically about the tool. For example, how reliable is the information about the technology? What is the objective of the tool? What could create bias in this AI tool? And who is the owner or developer of this technology? What subtype of AI is it? What kind of information does it rely on? And this is information that should all be readily available for you to assess. Secondly, it's important to evaluate the outputs of the tool, and you can do this by evaluating the output to see if it meets your intended purpose of needs, verifying the facts, engaging in conversation with the chatbot and providing feedback, and revising the results to reflect your unique needs. And now that you're aware of some of the considerations around GenAI tools, let's learn how to use GenAI in an ethical way with academic integrity in mind. In the context of GenAI, academic integrity refers to the ethical use of AI tools in academic settings, ensuring honesty, transparency, and accountability in the work that incorporates AI-generated content. Key aspects include not submitting AI-generated work as your own original work, clearly acknowledging if and how AI tools were used in your work, providing a citation and attribution for any AI-generated content, much as you would credit other sources, and of course always using AI responsibly and in ways that align with SCU policies and permissions for each unit and assessment. Your unit assessor will let you know what level of GenAI use is allowed for each task based on the GenAI tool use descriptors. You might be asked to show how you use GenAI, including prompts, outputs, drafts, and notes, so make sure you keep everything. If you can't explain your process or show that you follow the rules, it could count as a breach of academic integrity. Understanding what's allowed is key to staying on track. Always check the descriptor of your task and keep a record of how you've used GenAI tools just in case you need to show it later. Check your assessment task for additional guidance. Now let's look at actually how to use these tools. To get the most out of generative AI, it all starts with something called a prompt, basically the question or instruction that you give the tool. Prompt engineering is the skill of writing clear and specific prompts that help the AI to give you better, more useful responses. Your success in using tools like Copilot will depend on the clarity of these prompts. Learning how to write better prompts not only improves the result you get, but it can also save you time by getting the information or format you need faster. Just remember, the clearer and more specific the prompt, the better the AI's response will be. In the library, we use this simple formula to create a thorough prompt. First, what is the context of your learning task? Try to be as specific as possible and give the subject area and help Copilot to understand any language or limitations of your context. For example, what discipline are you studying and what level? The task is what you want the GenAI tool to do. Again, be as specific about the question that you're asking and what you want the model to do. Now, how would you like the information to be displayed? Copilot can turn your query into a table, bullet list, or an image, for example. You can see in this example that we've created a prompt with the 3 steps. First of all, the context is that we are a first-year nursing student at university. The task is that we want a concept explained, and our output is that we want it in no more than 5 dot points. Here you can see we've put our prompt into Copilot and it has performed the task for us in 5 dot points. This example shows that you don't need a long prompt to have an effective prompt, and if you give the AI tool enough information, it should complete the activity for you. So just to summarize writing prompts, keep these tips in mind. Give the AI a role or a persona to guide its tone and approach. Be clear and specific about what you want and avoid vague or open-ended requests. Include details and context like the topic, format, or goal. Set restraints such as the length, tone, or style to shape the response. Use complete sentences and make it conversational. The key is to give the AI a clear, achievable goal so it can give you the best possible result. Now let's look at some ways that you can use GenAI for your assessments. You can use GenAI to help plan or start your assignment task. For example, you could ask Copilot to be a study buddy and help you understand key concepts in your learning tasks. You could prompt the tool to describe a theory in simple terms or ask questions to investigate frameworks more thoroughly. Just remember that this information should be fact-checked and that you should also engage in your course materials and scholarly resources to fully engage in learning. GenAI tools can also be used to plan your assignment structure. The prompt on screen has asked a GenAI tool to structure a 1,500-word assignment into manageable paragraph sizes. You can see that this prompt has also given the AI tool the persona of a university student, and it has also specified exactly what I need included. GenAI tools can also be used to assist research, but it's important to remember that GenAI tools are not a search engine, nor are they an academic source, and they have been known to make up facts to fill gaps in the data. Instead, use it as part of your process to develop keywords and search strategies, summarize readings, and expand research possibilities. Brainstorming is another good use for GenAI tools, especially if you are having trouble thinking about possible keywords to use for your searches. Here you can see the prompt is asking for some research subject headings or alternate keywords for a topic question. To take this a step further, you could also prompt a GenAI tool to format these keywords into a search strategy using Boolean logic. This is a good way to start your searches, but they may need adjusting depending on your chosen database or your results list. The library now offers Primo Research Assistant, a generative AI tool that lets you search the SCU catalogue using natural language questions. It analyses academic sources to give you a summary based on the top 5 relevant results with in-text references included. While it's not designed for comprehensive searches, it's a great starting point for a quick research and early insights on a topic. To access the Primo Research Assistant, you want to find one of the search bars on our library homepage or My SCU. Press Search without beginning your search. This will open up a new search page. You can access the Research Assistant by clicking the link at the top of the page. You can ask the Research Assistant any question in natural language, which means you don't need to use keywords. For example, how does establishing clear routines influence behaviour and learning in early years education? By clicking Search, you can see that the Primo Research Assistant has summarised the top 5 relevant articles. You can see that they are numbered 1 to 5, and you can also see that the numbers 1 to 5 are placed in the summary. This shows a clear link to the information in the summary and its source. If you want to find out more about the source, you can click the number and you can download PDF, view full text online, or view more details. Now that we've looked at searching and researching, we can look more closely at your assessment tasks. For Assessment 1, you can see in your assessment brief that the unit assessor has labelled this a Level 2 use. This means you can use GenAI tools for purpose-specific uses. For example, you can use the tool for planning the structure of the essay, ask the tool to create a study plan, ask it to explain theories to you, or help with keyword searches. Assessment Item 2 is also labelled as a Level 2, meaning that you can use GenAI tools for purpose-specific uses. To help with your narrated presentation, you could also use GenAI to clarify concepts, brainstorm ideas for your slide titles or themes, ask it to suggest a presentation layout, or use AI to design visual aids such as diagrams or flowcharts to enhance your presentation. The main thing to remember about using GenAI tools is that it is not supposed to replace your learning. You still need to engage in your learning resources and write your own assessments. Treat GenAI tools like Wikipedia, in that the tool is not the original source of the information, and you probably need to fact-check any information that is outputted by the tools. If you choose to use GenAI tools, you must acknowledge their use. This is part of maintaining academic integrity and shows that you followed the guidelines in the assessment brief. You'll also need to include a short statement of acknowledgement of the use of GenAI, a proper citation and reference, and you need to include your appendix or a link to the full conversation that you had with the GenAI tool. It's also a good idea to create an account and sign in when using a GenAI tool, as this helps save your activity history. Before you submit any assessment items, consult this checklist to ensure that you have followed academic integrity guidelines. Ask yourself, have you used GenAI within the boundaries of the tool descriptor and the assessment brief for this assignment? Have you referenced and/or acknowledged all use of GenAI in your assessment item? Have you kept the records of all your notes and drafts? And are you prepared to discuss your writing process if asked? We understand that there are a lot of considerations around using GenAI at uni, but there are also a lot of places to support you. Please never hesitate to contact the library on chat or email if you need help. We can always help clarify any issues over there, and we get it resolved really quickly on chat. If you want to build your learning a little bit more around GenAI, you can also access our library guide, which goes through everything we went through today and more. There's also an SCU page for students in the Southern Cross model, and the Learning Zone is where you would head to for anything academic integrity or Turnitin related. I hope today's video was useful, and again, please don't ever hesitate to contact the library if you need more assistance.